Parasite is an Oscar-winning 2019 movie directed by Bong Joon-ho, which is a dark comedy thriller starring actors like Song Kang-ho, Yeo-jung, Choi Woo-shik, and Park So-dam, and many more. Sorry for butchering all those names. It is a story where a poor family, through various schemes and deceptions, infiltrates a rich family to meet their ends. This movie takes a deep dive into class inequality, the way the rich treat the poor, and the struggles of a low class family, which in a way shows us the dark reality of our society, which we know does exist but we don't really talk about it, which makes this movie a perfect social commentary. Here, the struggles of the Kim family, the poor family, is shown and the lengths they can go to live a better life, which in contrast to our society is very much true. I mean, anyone in their position would try what they are doing. A poor family can go to any lengths possible to make their life better. Them scheming and slowly from like one member of the family to all four members infiltrating the rich Park family is pretty normal and just shows us the struggles of a low class family in our society. The film is a 2 hour run and it perfectly shows us the segregation of the poor from the rich, which is very realistic. In fact, it is too realistic, I would say. For this, you have to give props to the smart screenplay co-written by Boon Jung-ho and Han Jin-won. Sorry for butchering their name again. The poor family lives in a semi-basement, whereas the rich family lives in a house created by one of the best architects ever. While the poor family has to wait for a cafe to open for Wi-Fi. Wi-Fi is like nothing in the rich, which again these small little things sprinkled in the screenplay shows us the watchers the segregation between the rich and poor, which also exists in our own world. The relation between the two families is something that makes this movie thought-provoking. The quote, "She's nice because she's rich" is almost very true in our own society. The father of the Kim family and the father of the Park family and their dynamic basically tells us about the relation of the poor and the rich, how they treat each other. Like when the head of the Parks doesn't want the head of the Kims to cross a line, also calls him Stinky. Which then in the climax we see father of the Kims killing father of the Parks, which again makes this a very thought-provoking movie. Like you question yourself, why would he do something like that? Nothing really matters, in my opinion, is the most destructible three words, and the head of the Kim says this, which also shows us that people who have suffered too much will have a breaking point, which will then make them destructible. And that's why I think the head of the Kims decided to kill the head of the Parks. This too happens a lot in our society, like people reaching their breaking point and doing something stupid. And now, talking about the man in the basement, I think why the movie is called Parasite is actually because of him, or maybe because of the Kim family. But as parasite is an organism which lives inside a host and gets it food in the expense of the host. So in the movie, the man in the basement in fact does get all the food from the host being the Park family. But we can also say that the Kim family is the parasite who is also getting its food in the expense of the Parks. Again, which makes this movie very complex and layered. Now coming to the man in the basement, he is in the position that he is in because of debt, which again correlates so perfectly to the world we live in. A man in debt in real life and the man in the basement who hides himself because of debt is very similar, again making the writing of this movie genius. So at the end I would just like to say that these are just a few reasons why I think this movie is a perfect social commentary. If anybody hasn't watched this movie, I highly suggest it. The thing about this movie is that it marinates, it ages like fine wine. The more you think about it, the better it gets. It's a must watch. If you want to watch a thought provoking, very complex, smart, and layered story which makes you think about certain aspects of the world we currently live in, with jaw dropping twists and turns, a very well crafted climax with great performances by the cast, and great direction, great screenplay, great writing, and many more. I highly suggest this movie, and that's about it. Subscribe.